pirates, summon the heroic spirit Drake at the beginning author, like the wind. Chapter 41 The Meeting of Two Orangutans. Haha, this Navy captain is too courageous. He even compromised with the pirates like this. Drake laughed. After they handed over the bounty, we asked them to hand over all the money in the naval base. And didn't he resist? It's so funny. Hee. We were monitored by people from the Navy when we arrived here. And the captain of the Navy is so honest. Maybe the warring states has given him a pass. Yan rubbed his chin and analyzed. Maybe the Navy arranged to arrest our people already on the way to Liuge town. However, it was beyond my expectation to get the Heilashi chain in this naval base. Ziyan threw the chain in his hand and said with a smile, a master in the Navy, I hope to come to a master with a sword. Musashi touched his favorite sword and said with a smile. Obviously, she wanted to compete with Jian Hao again. Let's go, contact Master Li and they will go with us to the abandoned port over there. Yan pulled the three daughters and said, the person who comes may have the yellow ape of their Navy, and he is the only one in the Navy who is strong and fast. It's almost time to come to our place. With Huang Yuan and Garp who is still in the East China Sea, the Navy must have their contents to take action against us. Tsunade, you leave a shadow clone and help us inquire about information. Okay, little master. After finishing speaking, Tsunade separated the shadow clone and left the shadow clone use the transformation technique. Okay, then we just have to wait for the news. After speaking, Yan and the others walked towards the abandoned port. Report to the Colonel, Lieutenant General Garp and General Kizaru have arrived at the port of Rogue Town. The Colonel of Rogue Town, who was smoking a cigarette, was awakened by their soldiers' report. What? Come on, come with me to the port. After speaking, the Colonel hurried towards the port. Today was a rather uncomfortable day for him. As a Navy, he has to obey the orders of their Marshal and ask Ziyan for whatever he wants. If it wasn't for Sengoku's order, even if he knew he couldn't beat them, he wouldn't compromise with the pirates. Therefore, he was so excited when he heard that Lieutenant General Garp and General Huang Yuan had arrived. Now, he was very much looking forward to Garp and Huang Yuan leading them to capture Ziyan and his group of arrogant pirates. Reporting to Lieutenant General Garp, General Huang Yuan, I am Captain Vincent of the Navy, stationed in Rogue Town. Vincent saluted Garp and others. I followed the order of Marshal warring states and did not go with Ziyan. People clashed. Also, that group is now staying at the abandoned port west of Rogue Town. Oh. What are you doing in the abandoned port? You're not waiting for us. Huang Yuan put his hands in his trouser pockets and said, it's so scary. He's just staying here open and above board, not afraid of the Navy at all. That guy is not afraid of the Navy, but he dared to snatch me. Garp shook his head. Let's go. Since we know their location, go and arrest them now. After finishing speaking, Garp and Kizaru led a group of Marines towards the abandoned port west of Rotown. They didn't see, on a dark street corner, a middle-aged man turned into a smog and appeared on the street. This is Tsunade's shadow clone. Little master, my shadow clone has brought news. Tsunade paused, and then said, there. People who came are indeed Kizaru and Garp. Sure enough. Yan smiled. Wait and act according to the plan. I will lead Tsunade, as well as Peluslino on our side and the Yellow Monkey in the Navy to enter the Innate Sword system. And the rest I'll leave it to you, Drake. No problem. Just leave it to me. Derek patted his chest and replied. Meet you again, Garp. Yan smiled and looked at Garp and his party who were walking towards him. I don't know, have you brought enough treasures this time? If you haven't brought enough, I'm going to tie you up. Get up and ask the Navy for a ransom. Go away, you nasty brat. Do you know that I caught SH for a few days because of you? Just thinking about it made Garp angry. Now that Ziyan still wanted to mention it, Garp yelled angrily in an instant. Oh. It's this little brother who has done so much to Lieutenant General Garp. Yes, it's really scary. The Yellow Monkey on the side stepped forward, looked at Ziyan, and then turned his gaze to Yan's side. Peluslino, who was wearing a mask, looked at him. I think this is the culprit who caused me to be misunderstood. Well, sorry, can you take off your mask and let me have a look? Peluslino, who was beside Ziyan, had no choice but to let Huang Yuan focus on him. Through knowledge and domineering, Huang Yuan has the feeling that he is looking at himself. Now, Huang Yuan understood why Garp had misunderstood him. After all, even he himself felt that this guy was very similar to himself. It's so scary. As soon as I came here, I was asked to take off the mask. As expected of their Admiral Huang Yuan. A voice with a different voice from Huang Yuan, but with a very similar tone came from behind the mask. However, I like to wear a mask. If General Kizaru really wants to see my face, how about doing it yourself? Chapter 42 The Separated Battlefield. Really? Your tone really makes me feel a little uncomfortable. The Yellow Monkey put away some cynical expressions, looked at Peluslino opposite and said, hee, isn't this your usual tone of voice? Peluslino tilted his head. Don't tell me you hate your tone so much. The golden light dashed, and the yellow ape suddenly appeared beside Peluslino, and put one foot next to Peluslino's head. I just don't like others imitating my tone of voice. Besides, Have you ever been kicked by their light? Could it be the light speed kick of the yellow ape general? It's terrible. Peluslino turned his head to look at the yellow ape. Please let me see it. Bang, boom. As soon as Peluslino finished speaking, the yellow ape's foot turned into a golden light and kicked Peluslino's head. Peluslino was immediately kicked out. It's really scary. It's indeed the light speed kick of General Yellow Ape. Peluslino, who fell into the pit, stood up, and the armed arrogance on his face began to slowly withdraw, but his mask had been yellowed by the yellow ape just now. The ape's kick flew away. It really hurts, Peluslino said exaggeratedly while touching his face. You are lying. Seeing Peluslino's exaggerated expression, the yellow monkey didn't feel that the light speed kick just now made Peluslino feel any pain. The face that Peluslino revealed at this moment was not his original appearance, but the face of an ordinary adult male in his 40s. And this face was the mask that Xian asked Tsunade to specially make for Huang Yuan. This is also the work done to facilitate Peluslino's entry into the Navy in the future. Is this your face? Huang Yuan bent forward, as if he wanted to see Peluslino's face more clearly. Well, it really couldn't be more ordinary. Steel is the body, and Re is the blood. Huh? What did you say? Huang Yuan turned his head and looked at Xian, who was beside him, who was moaning. It often stands on the top of the sword hill, drunk in victory alone. Xian ignored Huang Yuan and continued to whisper. Well, this is it. Garp looked at Xian's gesture of supporting the murderer, and suddenly thought of the description of Emiya Shiru in the Ying Squirrel's report. When Emiya Shiru used the ability that was suspected to be Fruit Awakening, he also used this posture and sang some words. It's not good, Kizaru, stop him. Garp yelled at Kizaru. However, it was too late. Then this body is destined to be born for the sword. Boom. Accompanied by the wave of Xian's magic power, Xian, Tsunade, Peluslino and Kizaru disappeared from Garp's sight. This is? Garp looked at Emiya Shiru. Xian used the trick you used against the Ying Squirrel, right? Was the yellow monkey taken to the place full of swords? Who knows? Emiya Shiru shrugged. Do you think I will reveal it to you? If Xian can also do your trick, your ability to create swords is not a devil fruit, Garp said and walked towards Emiya. If you don't want to say it, I have no choice but to use my ST to make you speak. Leave this guy to me. Li Shiwen blocked Garp's way. Emiya, Drake, and Miyamoto Musashi, go and deal with the other guys. Hey, since you said that, I'll leave it to you. Wagong shook his head, projecting that General Moxie was walking towards the other navy. Don't die, Li Shiwen. As he said that, Drake also took out his gun and walked towards the navy. Hey, are you alone? Musashi looked at Li Shiwen helplessly. Forget it, Garp is not a swordsman anyway, so I will leave it to you to deal with it. Do you think you can stop me, old man? Garp stopped and looked at the old man in front of him who exuded a faint beast aura. Hee, aren't you an old man too? Li Shiwen raised a spear in his hand and pointed it at Garp. Leave their young people alone, let us two old people have a good conversation. Then, I won't hold back. After speaking, Garp rushed towards Li Shiwen. Boom, with the contact of the ST and the spear. The battle between Li Shiwen and Garp began. At this moment, during Xian's unlimited sword system, Huang Yuan was looking at the world in amazement. This is the world of swords mentioned in the Ying Squirrel's report. It's really scary. There are swords everywhere, Huang Yuan said with an exaggerated expression. However, didn't you mention that this is the Emiya? Is it the ability to awaken Shiru's fruit? Boy, why do you use it? Can you tell me? It's just a technique. Xian shook his head. However, is he worthy of being an admiral? Even if he sees this kind of scene, he can still look calm. But, I don't know. Seeing can you still feel calm about what happened next? After speaking, Xian looked at Peluslino behind him, and motioned him to deal with the yellow ape. Peluslino walked up to Xian, pointed at the yellow ape with his ninja. Then, a golden light appeared at the tip of Peluslino's ninja, and the light continuously spun, emitting rich light energy. This is? Looking at the familiar light, Huang Yuan had a bad premonition. Chapter 42 Yellow Ape feels like I'm dreaming. A golden ray shot from Peluslino's ninja to the kiwi. In order to distinguish, our yellow ape is called Porusalino. Seeing the golden light coming, Huang Yuan raised his hand and shot out the same light. Boom. Accompanied by the contact of the two rays of light, a huge roar exploded in the inherent barrier. When the smoke and dust cleared, Peluslino had already come to the side of the yellow ape, and put one leg next to the head of the yellow ape. It was exactly the same as what Kizaru did to Peluslino just now. Hey, have you ever been kicked by the light? Peluslino said as if responding to the yellow monkey. As soon as the words fell, the yellow ape was kicked out by Peluslino. Looking at the golden light that slowly condensed into the yellow ape, Peluslino said to him, "What do you think? Are you surprised?" Ha. This can't be called surprise anymore. It should be said to be frightened. You're really terrifying. The condensed yellow ape looked at Peluslino and said, "Your ability is the same as mine." Well, in this world, there should only be one devil fruit of one kind, so who are you? In the end, Huang Yuan's expression became completely serious. I need to ask my marshal this question. RST. Peluslino looked at Ziyan after finishing speaking. Peluslino, what do you think? Let him take a look. Anyway, he can't leave, can't he? Ziyan smiled and made the decision for Peluslino. Since the marshal said so, then Peluslino put his hands on his face, slowly tore off his mask, and a face exactly the same as that of the yellow monkey was displayed in front of the yellow monkey. Looking at Peluslino's face, the yellow ape fell silent. After a while, he said, "Who are you? What is your purpose?" If it was simply that he looked the same as him, Huang Yuan would not be so surprised. I just think this is some kind of devil fruit ability. However, the guy standing opposite him not only looks exactly like him, but also has exactly the same ability as him. This surprised him quite a bit. You don't need to know who he is, you just need to know that after you leave here, he will replace you as the general of the navy. Ziyan looked at Huang Yuan with a smile on his face, and said, "That's it, you are here for this purpose." A cold light flashed in Huang Yuan's eyes, "But it's not so easy to replace me, do you understand me? I think maybe no one in this world knows you better than him." Ziyan looked at Peluslino on his side with a teasing smile. "Why don't you tell me a few little secrets about yourself so that..." General Huang Yuan, "What about dying?" Let me go, Marshal." Peluslino patted his head. "Please let me keep those embarrassing things in my heart." "That's it, let's forget it." Ziyan stood up. "Although I believe you can defeat him, let's make a quick decision." Tsunade, Peluslino, join me and quickly take down the yellow monkey. Oh, it's really scary. They want to go together. But, as he said, the killing intent burst into the eyes of Huang Yuan. "I heard you're such a terrible idea, I can't let you realize it. So, I want you, to die here." After finishing speaking, the yellow ape turned into a ray of light and appeared above Ziyan and the three of them, and intense golden light radiated from his folded hands. 8-foot Kyan-Gu, accompanied by Huang Yuan's words, countless dazzling light bullets fell from the sky towards Ziyan and the three of them. However, in the face of the yellow monkey's attack, Peluslino also used the 8-foot Kyan-Gu. In the air, the same light bullets collided and annihilated. Before Huang Yuan had time to surprise Peluslino's 8-foot Kyan-Gu, the large number of Ying swords operated by Ziyan had already arrived in front of Huang Yuan. Kizaru had no choice but to turn into golden light and dodge left and right in the air. When he landed, Tsunade had already raised his ST and led it in front of him. "Ordinary attacks are useless to me." Boom. Before Kizaru finished speaking, he was sent Ying by Tsunade's strange power street. "It looks so painful." Peluslino looked at the yellow ape lying in the pit with a nosebleed, and said, "Sure enough, I can't do it too much for my fruit ability." Cough, cough. Kizaru stood up and looked at Tsunade. "I obviously didn't feel the domineering armed color in your hand. How could you grasp my elemental body?" Hee. "Although I really don't know how to be domineering. But unfortunately, chakra, which is life energy, can still grasp the elemental body." Tsunade squeezed his ST and said to Kizaru, "Chakra, what is?" "You talk too much, Huang Yuan." Before Huang Yuan finished speaking, Ziyan turned into golden light and came to Huang Yuan's side, and slashed at Huang Yuan with Tankangyan sword. Ding! Huang Yuan quickly summoned his Tankangyan sword to block Ziyan's attack. "How is it possible? You are also a person with the ability of the shiny fruit?" Huang Yuan was already wondering if he was dreaming. Chapter 43. Prepare to act. Huang Yuan suddenly felt that what happened at this moment was not real. He was still sleeping on the uninhabited island, and what happened here was all a dream. However, the pain from the wound on his body reminded Huang Yuan all the time that all this was true. Huang Yuan felt that he had never been as surprised as he was at this moment in his entire life. First, he met Peluslino, who had the same looks and abilities as himself, and then saw that Zhu Yan also suspected that he possessed the ability of the shining fruit, which made the yellow monkey feel absurd. Ziyan laughed, and did not speak, but turned into light again and appeared above the yellow ape, and answered the yellow ape with the 8-foot Kyan-Gu. The yellow monkey who moved aside broke out in a cold sweat. Hey, this is too exaggerated. There are so many shiny fruits in this world." Ziyan chuckled lightly. "Huang Yuan, although you have always thought your expression is very interesting, but now your expression is much more interesting than before. But, the fun ends here." After finishing speaking, Ziyan turned into a ray of light and took a group of swords and quickly flew towards the yellow monkey. Peluslino and Tsunade followed closely behind. In previous battles, it was difficult for Huang Yuan to be defeated by others relying on the speed of shining fruit. Even if he can't win, if he is determined to leave, others will not be able to keep him. However, both Ziyan and Peluslino have the same speed as Huang Yuan. Therefore, their defeat of the yellow ape is only a matter of time. To be honest, seeing myself like this makes me feel really complicated. Peluslino couldn't help but sighed as he looked at the yellow ape lying on the ground with a bruised nose and swollen face and ragged clothes. After finishing speaking, Peluslino looked at Ziyan beside him with a slightly strange look. "During the battle just now, Ziyun was trying his best to greet the yellow ape's face. Sensing Peluslino's gaze, Ziyun smiled. I can't help it. When I saw his face, I couldn't control the urge to hit him in the face. I really couldn't control myself. Hearing Ziyun's words, the corners of Peluslino's mouth twitched, and he touched his face, feeling suddenly cold. The marshal wouldn't always endure the urge to slap me in the face. Peluslino couldn't help but think so. Don't look at me like this. I don't have such impulses or thoughts towards you as a companion. As if seeing Peluslino's thoughts, Ziyun explained lightly. Hearing what Ziyun said, Peluslino breathed a sigh of relief. Then, Marshal, what should we do with this guy? Peluslino looked down at the comatose yellow ape and said, should I kill him? Since this guy survived the battle, I won't kill him. After all, I don't have any ill feelings towards this guy. Ziyun turned to look at Tsunade next to him. Tsunade, can you seal him with a sealing technique? Of course, although I'm famous for medical ninjutsu, it doesn't mean I don't know how to seal it. Tsunade paused and said with chest out. Looking at Tsunade's appearance, Ziyun couldn't help poking that huge heart with his ninjas. Then I'll leave it to you. After sealing it, throw him into the wet bone forest where the slug immortal is, so that nothing will go wrong. Leave it to me, little master, just wait by the side. I will start sealing after I arrange it. Tsunade blushed so much that he hooked Ziyun up, and said with a smile. After Ziyun and Peluslino stood a little distance away, Tsunade took out a scroll and put it in front of Kizaru, and formed a seal. Don't worry, Kizaru. When the time is right, I will give you freedom. I hope you will be more aware of current affairs. Looking at the yellow ape who was completely covered by the bandage stretched out from their scroll and slowly pulled into the scroll, Ziyun said calmly. In Ziyun's heart, he still had a plan to ask Huang Yuan to help him deal with the world government. However, Ziyun knew that if he wanted to do this, he had to give Huang Yuan a chance. But fortunately, when Peluslino got into the Navy. It is quite easy to create such an opportunity. Tsunade, use the avatar to imitate Peluslino wearing a mask, and then take out the yellow suit prepared for Peluslino in the scroll, as well as the chain of Kailu stone. He said. Ziyun turned to look at Peluslino again. Then, Peluslino, wait until you get dressed and mess yourself up a bit. When you're ready, I'll use the seaweed I got from the naval base. Laoshi, chains trap you. Although you are not afraid of this thing now, you should still pretend to be weak when the time comes. Don't worry, Marshal, I still have some experience in acting. Then when I'm ready, I'll dispel the inherent barrier and go see how the battle is going outside. In fact, for the battle outside, Ziyun has contents in Drake and the three of them. In his mind, Garp would not be the opponent of the three of Drake. And maybe when he went out, Garp was easily taken down by the three of them. However, actually wait until Ziyun goes out. What he saw surprised him greatly. Chapter 44 Victory. Damn it, what's going on? Ziyun, who had lost his innate sword restraint, was taken aback when he saw Li Xiuwen standing covered in blood and Garp lying next to him, also covered in blood and comatose. Hurry up, Tsunade, heal Master Li quickly. Haha. Don't worry, Master, I'm still far away from death, I just look a little scary. Li Xiuwen shook his head, and looked at Garp who was lying on the ground with more breath and less breath. Treat him RST, otherwise, he would really be dead. Don't be so troublesome, I'll treat you two together. As he said that, Tsunade pulled Li Xiuwen over and made him lie next to Garp, and healed them both with the palm immortal technique at the same time. What's going on, Drake, Musashi, Ymir? Ziyun approached the intact Drake and the others. None of you were injured. Why did Master Li suffer such a serious injury? It's not because Mr. Li asked to GHT Garp alone. Ymir shook his head helplessly. It doesn't matter. Drake hugged Ziyun from behind. Anyway, with Tsunade here, let Master Li enjoy himself. Yes, Li Xiuwen is knee anyway. He. Musashi ran up to Ziyun and held his hand and said, how could you have imagined that, Master Li? Although you are not the young Li Xiuwen, you are still so aggressive. Hearing that this was the case, Ziyun couldn't help sighing. Haha, I'm sorry, Master. Li Xiuwen said slightly apologetically. I didn't intend to GHT like this, but when I punched, I couldn't control myself. Haha. Ziyun shook his head. You don't need to apologize, as long as you're knee. Ziyun said, looking at Tsunade. How? Tsunade. How are Master Li and Garp's injuries? It's okay, although both of them are seriously injured. Don't forget who I am. I am the princess Tsunade Harem of the Senzu clan. I will be able to heal their injuries in a short time, Tsunade said proudly. For Garp, you don't need to cure Mal, just make sure he doesn't die. Ziyun raised their corner of his mouth. Since we caught him, let's take him to the Navy for ransom. Since I told Garp last time that he would be taken away in exchange for money, then I will tell him to do it. But, you said last time that Garp didn't bring enough money to do this. Derek put his face on Ziyun's back and said jokingly. He also said he wouldn't take a berry. Ziyun shook his head with a smile. With this old man's character, it's really possible that he wouldn't take a berry. I don't think he would. Enough money. Glancing at the unconscious Navy around him, Ziyan raised his eyebrows. Why Amir? Wake up that colonel and let him report to Sengoku. Okay, master. After Amir replied, he walked towards the lieutenant colonel lying on their ground. Boo boo boo. Boo boo boo. Hey, this is Warring States. Report to the Marshal of the Warring States period, who is stationed here in Rogue Township, Captain Vincent. I have an important report. The naval hero Garp and Admiral Kizaru were captured by the Drake pirates. What? Zango stood up suddenly. Colonel Vincent, do you know what you are talking about? No joke. Report. It's true. Lieutenant General Garp is still being healed by the pirates. When Vincent just woke up, he was also very unbelievable. The naval hero and admiral were captured at the same time, which made him almost bite off his tongue in horror. However, the facts before him had to convince him. For the safety of Lieutenant General Garp and General Huang Yuan, Vincent had no choice but to accept Ziyan's request and call Zango. Garp is being healed? Sengoku heard this and asked quickly, is Garp injured? Is the injury serious? It's heavy. Vincent looked at Garp, who was covered in blood. So, Sengoku, please agree to the pirate's request. It doesn't matter if I die, but if Garp, the hero of the Navy, and General Kizaru, if something happens, it will be a huge loss for our Navy. Hearing Vincent's anxious words, Sengoku fell silent. What request do they have? Zango, who came back to his senses, immediately asked. Vincent, tell them, no matter what request they have, as long as they return Zango and Huang Yuan, any request can be granted. They asked the Navy to give them 2 billion berry and 2 natural law phantom beast devil fruits, so they were willing to let Lieutenant General Garp and General Yellow Ape go. And the black-haired man said he would not accept it. Negotiation. If you don't want to take out so many things, return the heads of Lieutenant General Garp and General Kizaru to us. Boom. Hearing the pirate's request, Sengoku punched his desk. The desk that had accompanied him since he became an admiral in the Warring States period had come to an end. Cough, cough. At this moment, Garp woke up by Tsunade Medical. Tsunade also withdrew their hand that was treating Garp at the right time, and began to treat Li Shuin with all his strength. Vincent, who heard Garp's voice, immediately looked at Garp. Seeing that Garp had woken up, Vincent excitedly reported to Zango. Report to Marshal Zango, Lieutenant General Garp is awake. Chapter 45 Negotiation. What? Quick, tell the pirates, I agree to their request. Get them to put Cap on the phone with me. Hearing Garp woke up, Zango hurriedly ordered. Ziyan, Marshal of the Warring States period requested. Needless to say, give the phone bug to Zango. Before Vincent finished speaking, Ziyan agreed to Zango's request. Cough, cough. Hey, Sengoku, I'm sorry, I messed up this time. Looking at the yellow apes bound by the chains of Heilu stone and the many marines lying on the ground, Garp took their text-phone bug that Colonel Center handed over. Old man, it's good that your knee. Zango sat back on his seat. I underestimated their opponent's combat power this time. Sorry. I have already agreed to their request, and you will be back soon. Huh? Hearing what Zango said, Garp quickly looked at Ziyan. Boy, what request did you and Zango make? Ziyan chuckled lightly. Garp, have you forgotten what I said last time? I said, if I catch you again, if you don't bring enough money, I will ask the Navy for money. You bastard, I brought the money, just ask me for it. How much did you bring for it? Looking at Garp's expression, Ziyan knew that the old guy didn't bring any money at all. Come on, Garp, rather than believing that you can bring enough money to end me, I'd rather believe that Roger is resurrected. Ziyan shook his head. Maybe, since you were robbed by us last time, there was no money added to the ship at all. You may have come to arrest us without bringing a berry as you said last time. Hearing what Ziyan said, Garp's expression became more rigid. He really did what Ziyan said, and he didn't add a berry to the boat. Well, boy Ziyan, how much did you ask Zango? Not much, 2 billion berry plus 2 natural type or phantom type devil fruits. Ziyan said lightly. What? You don't have many names? Garp turned to the phone bug. Sengoku, he really asked for that. And did you agree? Sengoku on the opposite side of the phone bug was silent for a while and then said, Garp, I have to do this. Nothing will happen to you and the yellow monkey. If something happens to you, then the Navy. Warring States didn't finish his sentence, but Garp already understood what he meant. Garp, can you tell me, with your strength, why you were knocked into a coma, or even hanged by a thread? Warring States asked Garp solemnly. Hey. Garp looked at Ziyan, and seeing that Ziyan didn't stop him, he said to the phone bug, Zango, I was defeated by one of their members alone. What? Zango, who had just sat down, couldn't help standing up again. Garp, tell me again, you were defeated by a single person? What I said is true. Warring States. Garp sighed. That is an old man who is not very strong, even thin. His gun is very powerful. To be honest, I have never seen it before. This kind of marksmanship. But fortunately, relying on a hard blow, I smashed his gun. But now, I would rather I didn't knock his gun away. Huh? Sengoku frowned. Carp, what do you mean? No 2 hits. Garp, are you saying that the old man used the WDA you mentioned last time? After I smashed the gun of the old man named Li Shiwen, his aura rose instead of being weak, and he quickly used Wu to hit me. Although I reacted quickly, I still suffered unclear injuries. Shaking his head, Garp continued, Li Shiwen's Wu strike is even more powerful than Zhu Yun's. Although I have seen it once, I was still beaten enough. Then, in the battle with Li Shiwen, his momentum he is getting stronger and stronger, and his boxing skills are becoming more and more worse. If he is said to be a dormant tiger with a gun, then he is a tiger chasing its prey when he uses his STS. It's only natural that Li Shiwen's WDA is better than me. After all, my boxing skills come from him. Ziyan walked up to Carp and said to him, Steel Fist WDA, Sharp Spear Li Shiwen. This is how he is described. Ziyan smiled and continued, then, Zango, when will you deliver the things? I won't wait for you for too long. If you want to play tricks, you will have to suffer. Hearing Ziyan's words, Zango frowned. Since I have agreed to your request, I will definitely do it. However, I want to talk to Huang Yuantong RST, and you will not refuse. Of course not. Ziyan didn't have much expression on the surface, but he smiled in his heart. I can understand that the Marshal of the Warring States wants to know the situation of his subordinates. Don't worry, I'll just give the phone bug to Huang Yuan answer. After speaking, Ziyan took the phone bug and came to Yellow Ape. Come on, talk to Marshal Warring States. He. Looking at Peluslino in front of him, Ziyan, who turned his back to Garp and the other navy, showed a sly smile. Chapter 46 Angry Warring States. Moses, this is the Yellow Ape. Peluslino approached the phone bug and said, I'm so sorry, Marshal of the Warring States. I was captured. If you're sorry, there's no need to say any more. Warring States also breathed a sigh of relief when he heard Huang Yuan's angry voice. How are you? Are you seriously injured? I'm Ni. Peluslino looked at Garp. No, it should be said that I'm in good condition now. Apart from being bound by the sea tower stone chains, I haven't suffered any injuries. Well, it's good that you didn't suffer any injuries. Zango frowned. Then, how did you get caught? With your speed, it's not so easy to catch you. I was brought into the world of swords by Ziyan, where I was chased and beaten by Ziyan and 2 other companions. Peluslino sighed pretentiously, and continued, there are too many swords there, and more importantly, the guy wearing the mask is not much faster than me. I was careless, and they put it on sea tower stone chains. Hearing Peluslino say the world of swords, Sengoku frowned. The world of swords? Is it the unlimited sword system that Flying Squirrel once reported? Probably that. Peluslino nodded. The situation inside is the same as what Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel reported, so it shouldn't be wrong. Isn't that the ability of Emiya Shiru's Devil Fruit? Sengoku frowned even deeper. Couldn't this be the ability of Devil Fruit? Probably so. After all, there won't be 2 identical Devil Fruits in this world. When Peluslino said this, he couldn't help but think of the Yellow Ape in this world. Can't help but feel a little awkward. Perhaps, this is just a unique skill. Since this is the case, Zango shook his head. Our previous speculation was wrong, and that guy named Ziyan knows Bbook and unlimited sword system. It seems that we should pay more attention to him. Maybe he will be able to use other moves of his companions. Ziyan, who was beside Peluslino, was overjoyed when he heard what Warring States said, and couldn't help thinking, it's not possible, but I really know the skills of other companions. Marshal of the Warring States. Enough chatting. Ziyan interrupted the conversation between the 2 of the Warring States. I need to get what I want within days. Don't wait until it's over. Impossible. We won't be able to gather 2 devil fruits and 2 billion berry within days. Hearing Ziyan's words, Zango immediately shouted at the phone bug. Don't be joking about the Warring States. The Navy is so powerful. Just the Navy in there. East China Sea is enough to produce what I want. Ziyan shook his head, apparently not believing what the Warring States said. I won't give you time to gather enough people to stop me. Honestly, do as I ask, if you want Garp and Kiwei to go back safely. Hearing Ziyan's words, Zango clenched his STS. He did have the idea of taking advantage of this deal to gather his men to catch Ziyan and his gang. Even if we can get 2 billion berry from the naval base near Rotown, we won't be able to get 2 natural orangutans fruits. There is no naval base. You can use the funds to buy it nearby. Ziyan smiled. Warring States, I didn't ask you to give me any very powerful fruits. I'm already very kind, don't you think? Damn it, there is no one weak in the nature department or the fantasy beast department. Zango was impatient. You still have the nerve to say that you are merciful? Then if I designate the devil fruit, what do you think about the level of the shining fruit of General Yellow Ape? Ziyan said, looking at Peluslino beside him. Don't say I won't give you a chance. Warring States, if you really can't get 2, you can exchange 4 ordinary devil fruits for 1 natural or phantom beast fruit. You choose. Hearing Ziyan's provocative words, Zango quickly took a deep breath to calm himself down a bit. Okay, I promise you, within days, you will get what you want. Hearing the words of the warring states period, Ziyan smiled happily. Then, for these days, I will stay in Rotown. I hope you can bring me what I want as soon as possible. You know, Garp is still seriously injured. Don't let Garp. I can't go back. Asshole, if Garp has something to do, you can never get what you want. Moreover, our Navy will not let you go, whether it is Drake Pirates or the Blue Star Organization. It's as if I return Garp to you, you will let us go. Ziyan smiled indifferently. If things really turn out like that, then the yellow ape won't be able to go back. You, Kaka. Zango looked at the phone that was hung up in his hand, and threw it to the ground with a ick of his hand. Damn you pirate, I will never let you go. In the Navy headquarters, in the marshals of the voice of Sengoku's anger spread far, far away. Chapter 47 Naval Conference. Boy, if you do this, there will be no room for turning around with the Navy. Looking at Ziyan who hung up the phone, Garp shook his head and said, although Ziyan said that he was going to kill him during the phone call with Zango, but he was not worried that he would die. Although he didn't have much contact with Ziyan, he knew that he was not a bloodthirsty person. If he had been a bloodthirsty man, he would not be alive now. As for the Navy that fought with Ziyan and his party, there will not be so many surviving. Don't be so absolute, Garp. Ziyan looked at Garp with a smile. It's uncertain what will happen in the future. Maybe we will have a chance to cooperate in the future. Huh? What do you mean, boy? Guess. Haha. Okay, everyone understands the matter. Let's talk about your views. The capture of Garp and Kizaru was not a trivial matter. After the warring states phone call, he quickly called the higher level officials in the Navy headquarters and told them what happened. Marshal Sengoku, do we really want to agree to the demands of those pirates? Ainu looked at Sengoku seriously. Navy, you can't compromise with the pirates. If Garp and Kizaru are to be rescued, we have to rely on our own strength to rescue them. But what if Lieutenant General Garp and Kizaru died because we didn't give the pirates what they wanted? I think it's best to do what the pirates asked. Lieutenant General Garp and their life safety of the yellow ape is the RST priority. Hearing Akanu's words, Kingsley immediately expressed the opposite opinion. Kuzin, you bastard. Hearing Kingsley's words, Akainu immediately looked at Kingsley angrily. Since you compromised with the pirates, what about your honor as a Navy? What should we do if we lose Lieutenant Admiral Garp and Kizaru because of the naval honors you mentioned? Kingsley looked at Akainu dissatisfiedly. If we lose them, it will be for our Navy. Huge loss. Okay. Sengoku had no choice but to interrupt Akainu and Kingsley when they saw that they were really arguing. I have already decided to meet the pirates' requirements. RST. In any case, the lives of Garp and the Yellow Monkey come RST. Marshal of the Warring States. 5 days, we will not be able to gather too much combat power in Rotown. If Garp and Origami die, then our deterrence against pirates will be greatly reduced. I think you know this, Sarkaski. Looking at Akainu who was still dissatisfied, Sengoku calmly persuaded him. I've already made a decision about the redemption of Garp and the Yellow Ape, so you don't need to discuss this. I called everyone here to discuss with you how we should deal with the Drake pirates in the future. Marshal Sengoku. Akainu stood up. Let me hunt down these people. Marshal, let me go with Sarkaski. Kings also stood up and replied. Although Akainu and Kingsley are at odds, they are determined to capture this group of pirates who dare to ask the Navy for ransom with naval heroes and admirals. At the same time, many lieutenant generals of the Navy headquarters also expressed their willingness to arrest Ziyan and his party. We will probably have a chance to meet them on the Great Route. Navy Staff of Sir Crane said, with his hands on his chin. We can't reach the East China Sea in days, and they want to enter the Great Route. So we're going to get ready somewhere on the Great Way to catch them in one fell swoop. He paused, and continued, after entering the Great Route from the East China Sea, there is more than one route. Investigating their whereabouts requires intelligence. I suggest that we can use CP's intelligence system for this matter, so that we can catch them faster. Sengoku nodded. I agree that the potential of this group of pirates is too strong. We must catch them as soon as possible. After that, I will report this matter to the world government. Now, everyone come to discuss the Specie C actions at that time. Rotown. Inside a villa. When they were discussing how to deal with Ziyan and his group in the warring states, Ziyan was walking towards Garp who was lying on a chair with a large plate of fragrant dishes. Come on, Garp, this is the food I specially prepared for you. Although you have been captured by me, I have no intention of ill-treating you. Although I will not heal your injuries, the food will still be prepared for you. However, I think you are a naval hero no matter what, and your resilience must be strong. Therefore, I added some ingredients to this dish, which will inhibit your recovery. How about it? Do you want to eat it? You kid. Garp shook his head, picked up the food Ziyan handed over, and ate, not worried about what Ziyan added. Your food is good, Garp said while eating, although I am very upset that you are asking their Navy for ransom with me and the Yellow Ape, but I still want to praise you for your food. That's right, it's made by our chef. Ziyan smiled triumphantly. Eat with condensed. There. Amount is enough. Haha. After speaking, Ziyan got up and was about to leave Garp's room. Chapter 48 Big News? Wait, Ziyan kid. Seeing that Ziyan was about to leave, Garp quickly called him back. Where is Huang Yuan? Where is he? Let me share a room with him. Ziyan looked at Garp strangely. Of course he is in another room. As for letting you live together, forget it, Garp. Although you are injured, you still have the ability to touch the chains of Heilu stone. I don't want to spend too much energy looking after the two of you. Ziyan waved his hand and said as he walked towards the door, you can just stay here alone. After I get what I want, you and Huang Yuan can leave naturally. Stinky boy. Garp clicked his lips, and continued to focus on the food in front of him. Although he was captured, and the food was tampered with. But when there's no escape. Anyway, Garp doesn't want to go hungry. How is it, Tsunade? Is there any action by the Navy? After walking out of the room, Ziyan looked at Tsunade who was waiting for him outside the room and asked. The Navy in Rotown didn't make any moves. Tsunade shrugged. After they returned to the naval base, they actively started treatment. Compared to their quietness, ordinary people in Rotown were very active. Too much. That's impossible. Drake leaned against the wall and said, after all, the scene of Li Shiwen defeating the naval hero was seen by many people, and the scene of the battle was even photographed by reporters. Presumably, it won't be long before there will be news about Li Shiwen defeating Garp. Hearing this, Ziyan's mouth parted with joy. That's good too. By then, we'll gain even more fame. Haha. By the way, where's that guy? Peluslino? He is eating the dishes prepared by Amia in the room. Drake smiled. That guy seems to really want to eat enough of Amia's dishes before leaving. Haha. That's it, then let him go. After Ziyan smiled, he walked towards Li Shiwen's room. Tsunade, how is Master Li's injury? Don't worry, little master. I have basically healed his injury, and as long as he rests well, he will recover in a short time. Tsunade followed Ziyan's footsteps. Now, he is in the room asleep. I see. Ziyan stopped. Since Master Li is sleeping, I won't bother him. Turning around, Ziyan took the hands of Drake and Tsunade and walked towards the living room. Come on, let's go eat too. We have already understood the matter, Zango. In the luxurious room, Wu Loxing with a sword said to Zango, who is opposite the phone bug, we are very disappointed with your actions this time, and you need to review this matter carefully. However, Garp and the yellow ape can't be lost. The bearded Wu Loxing said, you can agree to the pirates' request. But, after that, you must catch them. These pirates are so bold, so it is very likely that they were responsible for the Tanlongren incident in the East China Sea last time. Wu Loxing, the 8-character Wu Loxing, continued, warring states, regarding their arrest, we will let them CP fully cooperates with you. As for the criminal who killed the Tanlongren, as long as there is suspicion, he must not let it go. I hope you will not let us down this time. Yes, I will nightly catch them on the Great Route. Warring States replied with a serious face. Then, let's leave this call as it is. I hope to hear good news from you soon. After speaking, blonde Wu Loxing hung up the phone. Looking at the phone bug that was hung up, Sengoku clenched his STS. Ziyan, and your companions. I will nightly catch you. Shinzegi, headquarters of World Economic News Agency. Boo boo boo. Boo boo boo. Hello, this is Morgans, one of the underground kings of the New World, the president of their World Economic News Agency, and the person who controls the direction of the world news. Shingbot picked up the phone. President, I'm in Rotown now, and there's big news here. The black-clothed news reporter holding a camera said excitedly, just now, Garp and Kizaru of the Navy were defeated by pirates, and they also got it. What? Morgans raised his tone excitedly. Who did it? A man who was famous recently and had a GHT with Garp hashed in Morgan's mind. Could it be that guy named Ziyan did it? President Morgans. It was done by Ziyan's pirate team. When the Navy was getting their Drake pirates, Ziyan and his two companions had already disappeared suddenly. When they reappeared, the yellow monkey had been killed. Heilashi is bound with chains. The reporter took a deep breath and continued, and Garp was defeated by an old man named Li Shiwen in the pirate group alone. What? Garp was defeated alone? Yes, President, I took a photo here, and I will pass it on to you. Chapter 49. The world was shocked. Looking at the photos sent through the phone bug, Morgans fell into deep shock and excitement. In the photo, Garp is lying on the ground covered in blood, unconscious. Opposite him stood a slightly thin old man who exuded a strong aura of danger. In another photo, Huang Yuan was lying weakly on the ground with a ring of Heilu stone chains. Morgans was shocked that the veteran strongman on the sea was defeated by a single person, and was shocked by the fact that General Huang Yuan, who was the face of the Navy, was captured alive. At the same time, as a journalist, he is also extremely excited and happy about the value of this big news. This time, you did a good job, Morgan said to the phone bug. Don't worry, I will give you enough rewards You keep watching this group of pirates for me. This group of pirates is not simple. I got information not long ago. Although the captain of this group of pirates is the woman named Frances Drake, she is only Ziyan's subordinate. Morgans paused and continued. Moreover, this pirate group belongs to an organization called Blue Star. I think that Ziyan may be the boss of this Blue Star, at least a high-level one. So, I kept an eye on them. Yes, I will do my best, President. Don't worry. Very well, I'm going to deliver this big news to the world now. Ha. After finishing speaking, Morgans hung up the phone, and hurriedly ordered the members of their news agency to deal with the big news as soon as possible. New World, Moby Dick. Daddy. Big news. Marco, waving the wings, landed in front of Whitebeard with the newspaper from the Newsbird. There is a very powerful pirate group in the East China Sea, and now all of them add up to billions of berry. Oh, the Whitebeard sitting on the chair said in a little surprise, is there such a powerful pirate in the East China Sea? La, father, this is the news about them. You will be even more surprised after reading it, Marco said, handing the newspaper in his hand to Whitebeard. Oh? Is it some big news? After speaking, Whitebeard began to read the news. Huh? That guy Garp and Kizaru were defeated and captured. Even Whitebeard was shocked by such news. As a person who has fought Garp for half his life, Whitebeard knows Garp's strength very well. But now, it was Garp like this who was defeated by a pirate who had never heard of it alone. And there are no prisoners yet, which makes Whitebeard very interested in the group of pirates who captured Garp. What? That Garp was captured and that Admiral of the Navy, Huang Yuan, was also defeated? The two of them shot together, and they were both defeated? Hey, where did this pirate come from? The other members of the Whitebeard pirates were also shocked by the news when they heard what Marco and Whitebeard said. La. It seems that the sea is about to become interesting, Whitebeard said with a smile after taking a sip of his wine. Mom, there is very important news in the East China Sea. Charlotte category of the Big Mum. Pirates walked towards Charlotte lingering with a newspaper. Garp and Kizaru were defeated in the East China Sea. Huh? That guy Garp was defeated? Charlotte Lingling strangely picked up the newspaper. Category handed over. This pirate group is really interesting. If they can come to the New World, please invite them to my tea party. After reading the newspaper, Charlotte Lingling said with interest. At that time, let's marry this guy named Ziyan. Understood, Mum. If they come to East China Sea, I will arrange someone to invite them. Hearing Charlotte Lingling's decision, Category said calmly. Well, that's all for the matter. Now go get me my cake. Yes, Mother. Ha. That Garp guy, you're really old to be defeated by Rookie. Kaido, the captain of the Beast's pirates, laughed when he heard that Garp was captured. However, Blue Star and the Drake pirates are interesting, so let's go and eat them. After speaking, Kaido picked up the wine again and drank it vigorously. Captain, read it quickly. Bbook quickly ran to Shanks with a newspaper in hand. Benefactors and the others have made big news. Ha. Is it the Ziyan group who saved your wife? Did they do something? Shanks smiled and took the newspaper handed over by Boo. He had a good impression of Ziyan and his party who saved his companion's family, so he was very interested in hearing about them. This is? Shanks stared at the newspaper with wide eyes. Huh? What happened that surprised you so much? Ben Beckman, the deputy captain of the red-haired pirates, also became interested in the contents of the newspaper when he saw Shanks' exaggerated expression. You can read it yourself. Shanks shook his head with a wry smile, and handed the newspaper to Ben Beckman. Huh? Those two people actually. Even a calm person like Ben Beckman couldn't hide his surprise when he saw the news in the newspaper. Unexpectedly, the benefactors are quite powerful, Boo said with a happy smile. He is very grateful to Ziyan and the others, so he is very happy to know that they are so powerful. I didn't expect them to be able to defeat that Garp. Shanks shook his head. He still remembers the days when Garp was chasing Roger pirates everywhere. Therefore, he is very clear about Garp's strength. But Garp like this was defeated by one person. Shanks took a deep breath. If he wanted to meet Ziyan and the others before, it was because of kindness. Now, besides the kindness to see Ziyan and the others, Shanks also has a strong interest in them. Chapter 50 Day. Not only the four emperors were surprised when they saw the news, as long as the famous people in the sea were shocked by the news. When many pirates saw this news, they suddenly felt that the Navy was not that scary. The pirates who used to hide from the Navy also dared to challenge the Navy on their own initiative. This put a lot of pressure on the Navy, and the current Navy can be said to hate Ziyan and his partners. Of course, apart from hating Ziyan, the reporter who released the news was also hated by the Navy. It's Morgans again. Admiral Sengoku punched his new desk heavily. Warring states, the current situation is no longer suitable for us to gather forces to stop their Drake pirates. Crane on the side analyzed calmly. Now the pirates in the world are all excited because of this news. Some small pirates are no big deal, but now there are also many powerful pirates who are actively seeking trouble for our Navy. What's more, the 4 emperors of the sea and the strong men of the previous era all have faint signs of activity. Now that the manpower is concentrated on the Drake pirates, other places may be very dangerous. I know, Crane. Sengoku calmed down. Now is not the time to manage the Drake pirates. Now, our navy is needed everywhere in the sea. Sarkowski, Kuzan, you'll go to the New World to stare at those pirates. I will also arrange appropriate manpower in other places. The Drake pirates. After this period of time stabilizes, let's deal with it. Sarkowski and Kuzan also knew the seriousness of the matter now. They both nodded and answered the order of the warring states. Drake pirates, Ziyun, Blue Star. Sengoku clenched his STS, with a cold light in his eyes. Just wait, our navy will deal with you sooner or later. The sun pierced through the darkness, and warm sunlight began to shine on Rotown. Today is the FTH day after Ziyun and the warring states' appointment. On this day, just after dawn, Captain Vincent knocked on the door of the villa where Ziyun and his party lived temporarily with 2 billion berries and 8 devil fruits. In the end, the navy still didn't give Ziyun any of the natural type devil fruit or the magic beast type devil fruit. In their eyes, one natural type or phantom beast type fruit is worth many ordinary devil fruits. Naturally, they are more willing to exchange with ordinary devil fruits. What they didn't expect was that Ziyun made a lot of money by bringing these 8 ordinary devil fruits. After all, the system doesn't look at the quality of the devil fruit citry cycles, it only looks at the type. 8 ordinary devil fruits, on the contrary, have 2 more chances of summoning than 2 natural or phantom beast devil fruits. Come in. After Amir opened the door, he led Vincent to the living room of the villa. There, Peluslino, who was bound by the sea stone chains, and Garp, who looked weak, were sitting on the chairs in the living room. In front of them, Ziyun and his party were waiting for Colonel Vincent. The agreed time is coming soon. Ziyun looked at Vincent with a smile. You must have come to complete the deal. Haha. Vincent looked at Ziyun with a very complicated mood. For him, too many things have happened in the past few days. First, the bounty was given to the pirates, and then, in the face of the pirates' robbery, they had to compromise. Afterwards, in the Navy's arrest of Ziyun and his party, many navies, including Vice Admiral Karp and General Kizaru, also failed. These things were unimaginable to him in the past. Now, it really happened. Now, what's more serious is that the news of the naval hero Garp and Admiral Kizaru being captured has been spread all over the world. This dealt a major blow to the power of the Navy and the world government. Because of this incident, the number of conflicts between navies and pirates broke out around the world surged, and more lawless people chose to become pirates. Even the 4 emperors and the Revolutionary Army have faint omens of action. This suddenly increased the pressure on the Navy and the world government, and they had to send high-end combat forces to garrison various places. It can only temporarily cancel their plan to target Ziyun and his group on the Great Route, and instead pay close attention to Ziyun and his group for the time being. Rogue Town, where the top-level combat power of the Navy is in conflict with the Drake pirates, has directly erupted a large number of pirate incidents. At that time, all the surviving navies in Rotown had large and small injuries. There is no way to resist these pirates. During this period, if Ziyun's people hadn't helped GHT these pirates, the navy in Rotown would not have been able to support the arrival of assistance. In this case, Rotown will pay a huge price. This is why Colonel Vincent has complicated feelings towards Ziyun and his party. Shaking his head, Vincent withdrew his thoughts. The most important thing now is to quickly redeem Lieutenant General Garp and General Huang Yuan. I brought over what you want. There are 6 animal-type devil fruits and 2 superhuman-type devil fruits, and 20 billion berry. Now, return Lieutenant General Garp and General Yellow Ape to us. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.